Okay, guys, looks like we're live, and welcome to my first regular live stream. Uh, I don't have many viewers at the moment, but I hope they'll be coming into the chat pretty soon. So I had a great time in the chess.com streamers challenge, so I wanted to try live streaming again and hopefully make it a regular part of my channel because it was a great time, got a ton of people watching, and um, it seemed like people really enjoyed the interaction. And I think there's a lot of directions I can go with this. So I want to explore this avenue, and YouTube seems to be the perfect site to do that. So it is currently after midnight US Central Time. So apologies to you guys who are missing out on this stream and might have to watch it in the archive, but it is nice that the whole broadcast will be archived. I'll post it immediately after I end the stream. And all right, we've got people in the chat. Sam Raymer says, hey John, glad to see you're restarting the stream. Just tell Sam thanks. Appreciate you watching. And actually, for you Europeans, this might be great because if you're an early riser and you're sitting there Monday morning wondering why you have to go to work in about an hour, then you can watch me, and you can get your day started with some late night chess or early morning chess in your case. So for this first show, I don't really have a schedule necessarily. I'm just going to go as long as I feel like it. I'd suspect maybe an hour or so. And I'm hoping to do some Q&A, so just interact with the audience, take questions. I definitely have a chess improvement bent to my channel. Most of the stuff I post is designed to encourage chess improvement from you guys, the audience. I know that's why a lot of you guys tune in. So, hopefully many of the questions are about that, but I'm not going to be too strict. I'm going to be answering a variety of questions. So if you want to ask me my favorite color and, what my favorite food is, we can get some of those questions in too. And also what I'd like to do is maybe play some of you guys who are currently watching right now and, maybe give you a crack at me, and you have a chance to have one of your games like live commentated. We can play on chess.com. As you can see, my screen capture is currently geared for chess.com. I just chose this site for now because it's accessible. Many people have a chess.com account. I like the layout I have in my live streaming software. And in a little bit, I'll be opening myself up for challenges and hopefully getting some good games and helping you guys improve, commentating on some of your play. It would probably work best if you actually close the stream or mute the stream at least while we're playing, because I don't have any delay on this stream. So it's pretty much, there's minimal delay. It's maybe like 3 to 5 seconds or something. But if you mute the stream, then we'll get your pure, unadulterated play, not influenced by whatever comments I'm going to make on your games. So, all right, we've got more people in the chat. I'm just reading it right now. Turtle Joe says, love the double queen game you posted. Spectacular. Yeah, that was just an awesome game played by my student Grant and his opponent. If you haven't checked that out, go do so. It's in the Student Spotlight playlist, and just a real beautiful example of geometrical motifs in chess. It was absolutely fantastic. Speeding Up says, nice to see the stream. Thanks to you, Speeding Up. Appreciate it. Daniel Gonzalez. Hi, John. I just wanted to say I'm glad you're doing this streaming thing. I discovered your videos recently, and they've helped me a lot. Thanks, Daniel. Yeah, I really appreciate that. Appreciate you tuning in. Krauser400 says, it's so late. Yes, it is. Yeah, I had a good weekend and kind of just winding down. I'm sort of a night owl. Like I don't like mornings for the most part. I do my best thinking at night, I feel, and this is when I produce a lot of my YouTube content and stuff like that in the wee hours of the morning. So even though it is after midnight US Central Time, we're going to see how this goes. Speeding Up says, how far are you to beat Hansen in the bullet arena? I don't know what that means, but yeah, Eric Hansen is the original chess bra, and he is a grandmaster, probably about 25-75 FIDE. And he has a channel where he posts a lot of his stuff that he plays online, and he's an excellent bullet player, like top 5 in the world bullet, in my opinion. Outside of Nakamura, there's not too many guys that I think can really compete with him. He's just fantastic in that discipline, as well as being an overall good player. So yeah, many people ask if how I would fare against Eric Hansen. I posted a video a while ago where we did play several times in a particular Lichess Bullet Arena, and I think I lost like every game. I lost like 4 games or something in that tournament. I have beaten him before. Actually, if you search my channel, we've played a number of times in Blitz and Bullet, and that particular session I did exceptionally bad against him. So I'm definitely an underdog. He's just like, he's better than me and he's faster than me. So it's kind of like, how am I going to compete with him in Bullet? But that said, I mean, I can make it competitive with him, definitely. Against Amon Hamilton, who's another one of the chess bras, I think I'm basically playing him even. Lately, I seem to have a slight edge against him for whatever reason. I think him and I are very close in Bullet. He's an excellent Bullet player, too. So, yeah, I hope to play more of the chess bras. I'm actually trying to line up some more dual commentaries. Niklas Huschenbeth, Grandmaster Niklas Huschenbeth, who has a YouTube channel, he has expressed interest in doing dual commentary, so I hope we can get that maybe produced in the next week or so. Safai Kanjiani says, to be honest, I prefer the Twitch platform because YouTube chat, rather than YouTube, because the chat is more fluid and YouTube has to use your identity. Yeah, it's kind of a tough call. I mean, I've looked into this a little bit in the past few weeks, and I think YouTube has some advantages. For a lot of people, it seems like YouTube is easier, as in there's not as many issues with lag and the stream not working properly. But I do understand Twitch has some advantages. I'm kind of a person who likes to like keep all of my content in one place. So I kind of like having just everything on YouTube, and when I get done with the stream, it gets immediately posted to YouTube. I don't have to switch from site to site. And, you know, maybe I'll do Twitch in the future, but if this goes well, I probably won't even bother because it seems to be working. Brian S. says, have you played Yardbird? Yeah, Yardbird is I forgot what country he's from, actually. He's Eric Lobron. He's a grandmaster, and he plays a lot on ICC. He's relatively famous on there because he's played like so many games. He's been on ICC for a very long time. And among the YouTubers, like many YouTubers have played Yardbird. So yes, I have played Yardbird. I recall a game I played against Yardbird that I dropped a rook in a good position. I think that was the last time we played. It was very tragic. It was a Scandinavian, probably at least 3 or 4 months ago, I would bet. But yeah, I have played Yardbird many times. Okay, he's from Germany. Okay. Yeah, so Eric Lobron, a German grandmaster. Maybe originally from England? I have a feeling he's not originally from Germany, but I could be wrong. Someone wants me to start playing. We're just getting started, taking a few questions. How many viewers do we have right now? 27? Okay, not bad. I put out a tweet before this, but otherwise I didn't really put any advance notice. I will be playing some of you guys if you're up for it. If not, I'll probably be just playing some games on chess.com and live commentating. Turtle Joe says, John, do you watch any other chess YouTubers' videos by any chance? Yes, I do. I watch a lot of other chess YouTubers. Christoph, aka Chess Explained, Christoph Selecki, is probably my favorite chess YouTuber. I like his stuff. I think he has a very high quality channel. Even before I started posting my own videos, I always thought pretty highly of his channel. Stylistically, he and I are pretty similar, and we're similar strength too. So I always like going and checking out his stuff. I watch a lot of his Blitz games that he posts, and I really like the content he produces. Outside of him, I sometimes watch the Chess Bros stuff. Sometimes I watch Greg Shahade. Really depends. I mean, I kind of switch from channel to channel. I'll check out Simon Williams' channel, Niklas Huschenbeth. I'll watch Chess24 with Jan Gustafsson because they have quality reports on like top level tournaments and a lot of game analysis they're constantly churning out. I like the St. Louis Chess Club channel. That one's awesome. A lot of instructional content on there. There's a lot of YouTubers in the mix who I think are very good, and yeah, I like to kind of see what other people are doing. Like sometimes it kind of cues me into like what content people enjoy watching. Mainly, I try to go my own way though. I kind of have my own views on uh, what type of content is good to put out there. So, Red Mudkip says no love for KC. Yeah, nothing against King's Crusher. I just don't really watch his stuff. I mean, it kind of makes sense. Like I want to watch people that I feel I can learn from as a you know someone who just searches for YouTube videos. I mean, I want to watch a channel where I feel like I might learn something. And uh, no offense to Casey intended, but he's a little lower rated than me, and I'm not going to be gleaning a lot of information from his channel. His channel's fine. I don't have any issue with it. Radu Furtat says, at what age / how long did you start playing chess? Yeah, I got this in the chess.com streamers challenge too. Someone asked me that question. I started in second grade, so maybe like 8 years old. And I started playing tournaments a couple years after that. So like end of elementary school. And I've been playing ever since. I'm 29 years old now, just turned 29 earlier this month. So yeah, I've been playing chess for, it's unbelievable to say it, but yeah, solid 20 years now. IHC Mick says, hey, John, how does it feel to be the man? That's very nice of you to say, Mr. IHC Mick, but I don't really feel like the man. I just kind of do my own thing, and I like what I do. I feel very fortunate to be able to do chess for a living, basically. Teaching chess and doing this sort of stuff for fun, too. Turtle Joe says, who do you think has the best chance of winning the 2015 Baku World Cup? Yeah, so since I got that channel in the last live stream for the chess.com Streamers Challenge, at the time I was saying I liked Nakamura and So, their chances. I'm definitely going to stick with that. And I know those are like two of the players who represent the US in the field. So that makes me a little biased. I think I saw Andreikin got past Kramnik today, which is quite a milestone. I know Andreikin is highly regarded by a lot of the top players, so I like his chances. Wei Yi's still in it. Hey, he's always fun to watch. And as far as like the most exciting player to potentially win the World Cup, I would think Wei Yi would be the player. So yeah, I mean, but there's honestly like a lot of really interesting players in the mix. I think all the players under 2,600 have been eliminated now. I mean, you just got a bevy of top players in there. Topalov's in there, like that guy's been on a hot streak. He won Norway chess. Didn't have the greatest finish at the Sinquefield Cup, but I mean, it's hard to say at this point because there's so many good players still in the mix. By the way, I'm gonna put a little game up here just to observe while we're taking questions and whatnot. Travis Miller says, John, how can I send you my game? Also, your thoughts on the FIDE K factor. Yeah, I'm not going to do like game review right now. I'm willing to take challenges, but I won't be going into my email to like grab a game you send me. Maybe in the future, but that's just, it requires too much stuff as far as switching screens and changing my screen capture, so I won't be doing that. The FIDE K factor. So the K factor is a variable in the FIDE formula that calculates rating gain or loss. And it's kind of controversial right now because they changed it a while back they increased the K factor for players under 2,400, I believe. And by increasing the K factor, they made the ratings for players below under 2,400 much more susceptible to increase or decreasing rapidly, basically. And I think part of the reason they did that was to try to compensate for a lot of like junior players and up and coming players who get good very quickly, but their rating like doesn't reflect it for quite a while. But what has happened is there's been some pretty high profile cases where a player, and it's usually a young player, will have an awesome series of results, and in the case of like 1 or 2 months, like increased their rating like 400 FIDE points or something. This happened here in the U.S. With a young player, John Burke, who went from a fairly modest FIDE rating to a 2600 like almost overnight. I don't know if it was one supplement or two, but he just like skyrocketed up the rating list. And I mean, good for him. He is thriving in the current system, but a lot of people believe that that is not how it should be, and I think it has gotten a little out of control. I don't think someone should be able to rise up that quickly in the rating list. It's not fair to people who have played under the old rating list or under the old rating criteria, and have really had to grind for their like handful of FIDE points that they might get from having a couple good results. I mean, they're trying to correct the rating system, I understand, but I don't think that's a good idea to have a FIDE K factor of 40 or whatever it is right now. I think that's excessive. Also, I think it may encourage people to artificially keep their rating low until they become strong, and then just try to enter a bunch of tournaments and have a lot of good results right in a row and try to game the system. And there's also some question about whether arbiters may be enticed to act dishonestly and rate events like far after the fact so that the player in question can kind of group them together. I'm not saying that has happened, but I have heard that that is a concern. So I think there's some definite negatives. I don't think the old FIDE K factor was that bad. So they may want to consider lowering it and going a little closer to the old system. Let's take a few more questions here. Matthew Paterno Stir says, "Hey John, whatever happened to multicast? Do you think he was Magnus Carlsen or an engine?" I'm just as clueless as the rest of you guys. I don't have any inside info about multicast. For those of you who don't know multicast was a player who came along probably 6, 7, 8 months ago now, and really just started annihilating everyone on ICC, the Internet Chess Club. And I played this player myself in all different time controls, Bullet, Blitz, Standard, and their level of play was that of a super GM, except they were anonymous. There was no title attached to their account, and they were just wiping people out left and right, making it look easy. And ICC never attached the C next to their name, so apparently it was a legitimate account, or at least it was for quite a while. And then one day, Multicast got the C attached to their name, and they were added to the computer list on there. So everyone was like, "Oh, Multicast actually was an engine." But after that, I don't really know what happened. Didn't really hear much about Multicast thereafter. There were a lot of rumors that Multicast was Magnus Carlsen, but I think in the finger notes to Multicast now, if you go and check their notes on ICC, it actually says something about like this account was never used by Magnus Carlsen. And I don't know if ICC put that in there, but they came out and said like this was not Magnus. So I don't know. I don't have any other info about that. It was a very intriguing saga. If it was someone cheating, they were doing it in a very sophisticated way, because ICC did not ban them for cheating for at least a couple months probably. And they were playing everyone and their mother on ICC and beating them too. So you can search my channel for Multicast and see, and some other YouTubers also played Multicast before. Let's see. Isaac says, "What's your favorite kind of checkmate?" I don't really have a favorite kind of checkmate. If you're looking for like a specific checkmating pattern, like Anastasia's mate or like Legal's mate or Bowden's mate or something, I don't have one. No, because I kind of feel like checkmate is just like the culmination of all your work. For me, it's much more interesting, like how do you actually set up the checkmate? Like I like the process that goes into that. And nowadays, like in tournaments, or not even nowadays, at higher levels when you're playing tournaments, like you don't get to checkmate people really. Like I could go an entire tournament and not checkmate anyone, or not get checkmated myself, because people just resign before you get a chance to checkmate them. So yeah, I don't even really think about it anymore. Let's see. Ryan Phelps says, would you ever post a video of the wacky chess variants on lichess.org, like 3-check, atomic, anti-chess, or horde chess? Yeah, maybe in the future. I know when I started using lichess many months back, those were kind of appealing to me. But honestly, there's so much like regular chess content that can be produced and that I want to produce that that's more my focus at the moment. But yeah, there's something to be said for those variants. They're a lot of fun. I did post a Fischer random video a while back, but I haven't explored too many of the other variants. I do like Bughouse and Crazy House. I'm not bad at those. I used to play a lot of Bughouse when I was a kid, like at nationals and stuff, and I still play it from time to time. So I might post a Bughouse or a Crazy House video. Kareem says, I'm 1200 rated. If I win against you, like that would ever happen, would I get that big king behind you? Yeah, so talking about the big boy back there. Nah, you can't have the big king, Kareem. First of all, it would cost an arm and a leg to ship that to you. I would only give it to you under the stipulation that you had to come to my house in Minnesota and pick it up. Even then, I'd have to do some hard thinking before I part with it because I like that trophy. That's a cool trophy. Matthew says, also, did you ever play the guys that play chess in Washington Square Park and Union Square in NYC? Did you beat them? Yes, I played in both of those parks. So in New York City, Union Square and Washington Square Park are big places to hang out and play blitz. And a lot of the street hustlers congregate there and they play people. And yes, I have. And yeah, I pretty much beat all the players I encountered. I don't ever actually remember losing a game. I lived in New York for about a year, and on a handful of occasions, I would go and play in the park. A lot of those guys are pretty good. I mean, some of those street hustlers, they know what they're doing. It's pretty much what you would expect. Like they have very coffee house styles. Like they play for tactics and they play to confuse you, and they're heavily reliant on the clock and calculation. Their positional skills and endgame skills are pretty much lacking entirely. But that said, you can go pretty far in chess just based on those skills alone if you really beef them up. And I was in danger in some of the games that I played them. Ross Cheese says, how do you think you would fare against super grandmasters? Anand, Kramnik, Caruana? Well, obviously I would be a huge underdog. And it would mainly, I think, be a case if we were playing in a tournament scenario where I can hang with them, like chess-wise, fine, but they're going to put so much pressure on me on the clock with just their vast amounts of knowledge, their knowledge of openings and the associated middle games, that I might be able to get like an equal or slightly worse position and hang on through the opening and middle game, but their advantages in other aspects of chess and their vast experience will tell in the long run. So it's not like a player like me and I'm 2450 FIDE is just going to get wiped off the board by those players. But it's just that the sporting factors are so heavily in their favor because they're so experienced, and also just their knowledge is so much greater. But you do see like players like around my rating face off with some of these top GMs, like in it's the World Cup that's going on right now in the early round 1, sometimes even round 2, and it's occasionally like not an easy task for them to put your average IMs or lower rated GMs away. I mean, sometimes it's a struggle for some of the top players. I do think they get used to playing against the elite so much as like sometimes they may find it hard to adjust against your average grandmaster. But for the most part, their play is irreproachable. Let's see. The cool guy says, hi, John. Thanks for the awesome work. Has kind of become my staple diet. Question, do you play/follow any sports games other than chess? Yeah, actually I do. I'm a big basketball fan. I used to play a lot of basketball, so I still follow the NBA and also college basketball a lot. I enjoy that. I actually tore both of my ACLs, so I had 2 knee injuries playing basketball. So I have like kind of bad knees from that. But I do like to stay in shape, and I work out regularly and stuff like that. Speeding Up says, John, how far are you to becoming a GM? And how hard really is it to be a GM? No one really explained that. So the short of it is I need 2 Grandmaster norms. You need 3 Grandmaster norms, which are basically performances in 9-round tournaments or longer of 2,600 or higher is your performance rating you have to have. And also you need a FIDE rating of 2,500 or higher. And I'm 2,450, so I'm about 50 points away. So I have some work to do. It's not out of the question that I could become a GM, but I definitely need to put in a little more work. All right, I'm going to do about 5 more minutes of questions, and then we're going to play a little bit. Travis Miller says, John, I remember seeing your student, Andrew Tang, at the U.S. Open in 2012. He was a USCF expert, and now he's an IM. What happened? How did he improve so rapidly, and how did you contribute? Yeah, so Andrew Tang is a young player from here in Minnesota, high school age. He just is going into 10th grade. He just started 10th grade. And he is a IM, and his FIDE rating, I believe, is low 2,400s. So he was always very talented from a young age. And I started working with him maybe 3 or 4 years ago. He honestly just has a great natural talent for the game, and he was able to play at a solid level and high level very quickly. I noticed this even when he was younger, but he actually had more of a positional and strategic leaning to his game that you don't often see with younger players. And I think that's actually how he's risen up the ranks pretty quickly. Is he plays like an adult basically. He doesn't play like a kid. And as far as my contribution to that, I mean, I have been working with him for quite a while. So, you know, I definitely contributed to his progress, but taking someone like that and trying to steer them and mold them into a strong player, it's mostly the student themselves. Like they're doing the hard work, and they're the ones who are playing the games and getting the results. And I kind of view the teacher as the facilitator of that, the facilitator of their improvement, making sure they're doing the right things. As Andrew got stronger, it was more like, if I can use like an analogy to boxing, for instance, which is another sport I follow a lot. Whereas before I was like teaching him how to punch, like now, because we're so close in rating, it's more like I'm holding the bag and he's like punching the bag, you know, and I'm like yelling encouragement and trying to steer him in the right direction. So the nature of our work has changed a little bit. But he's made a lot of progress, and we're very excited about him here in Minnesota. Miles Bolin says, what sort of things do you look for when you exchange sack besides material advantage, that is? That's a little abstract. So sacking in exchange is giving up a rook for a minor piece. Most of the time you'll do it for some sort of positional compensation or the initiative. So if you can point to some sort of positional gain that you're achieving, then that can make up your compensation. Like maybe you obtain more space by doing that, or maybe you get like a diagonal for your bishop, and because you sacrificed your rook for your opponent's bishop, they don't have a counterpart bishop to oppose you, and your bishop is just raking down the diagonal. That's something you could point to. Or maybe the piece that you're capturing, the minor piece, was a key element to your opponent's defense. And by getting rid of that, by sacrificing your rook, like you're able to get at their king faster. That could be some sort of compensation too, but it really depends. It could be a variety of things. Okay, I'm going to take 2 more questions, and then I'm going to take on a challenge here. Chessbime says, what program do you use to record your videos? I would like to make my own videos, but I don't know what software to use. I use XSplit. XSplit it was actually recommended to me by Christoph way back when I was starting videos, so thank you to Christoph for the recommendation. Yeah, it's a solid program. Napkin the Elf says, nice to see you streaming again, John. Thanks, Napkin. I remember you from the first stream. Ben Shia says, at what age did you get your first chess title? So as far as official titles, like FIDE Master or whatnot, well, for USCF, I became a national master when I was, I believe, 14. So my rating crossed 2200 USCF when I was 14. FIDE Master, probably 15, maybe 16. FIDE Master is when your FIDE rating crosses 2300. So that's what I would estimate. Okay, I'll take one more. Christian Lello says, John, if I hired you as a coach, could you guarantee me improvement? If so, how big of an improvement? Right now, I'm around 1500 to 1600. No, I would never guarantee that you're going to improve. If you come across a coach who says, I guarantee you're going to go up 400 rating points because of the work you do with me, I would just run immediately. And I'm not saying that to like dissolve me as the coach of responsibility, but there's so many things that go into improving in chess, just like any other discipline. And to say that coaching is going to be the end all be all and the absolute solution is not going to be the case. Honestly, my best advice for those who are looking for coaching is to ask yourself like how much work you're willing to do on your own, because the coaching will help. And if you get a good coach, they will definitely allow you to flourish, but you have to really ask yourself how much work you can do on your own. If you're looking to the coach to be just the sole factor for your improvement, and you just want to like, take a 1 hour lesson each week and you're not going to do any other chess work other than that, don't get coaching. That would be a waste of money, most likely. But if you're taking that 1 hour of coaching, maximizing its value, asking good questions, bringing lots of potential issues to the coach's mind, and also dedicating yourself to work outside of the lesson and doing the work that the coach asks you to do, then it can really help. That said, I have worked with a lot of class players. Like I'd say players 1400 to 2000 are some of my most common students, and I have had great success in bringing many of them up. It really depends on your age too. I mean, if you're an adult, it's a lot harder to improve. If you've been stuck at 1600 for the past 10 years and you're 40 years old, it's not impossible to improve, but you have to know that the odds are stacked against you. I mean, you're an adult, you have other responsibilities, you might have a family, you might have a demanding job. Be very willing to admit that you might not improve that much, and that even 100 points improvement could be considered a big gain for like a 40-year-old perennial 1600 player. So that's kind of my thoughts on coaching that level and what you should expect out of coaching. Okay, so we've got 65 players watching. I know I didn't get to all your questions. I might try to answer a few more at the end. Now, if actually, okay, so let's do it this way. I know some streamers do this from time to time. So if you guys are on chess.com and want to play me in a game, which I'll live commentate and give you some advice, type a number in the chat between 0 and 500. I'm actually gonna, let me see if I can do something here. I'm gonna try to write this down. So pick a number between 0 and 500. I'm gonna write a number, and whoever is closest, send me a challenge on chess.com, and I will play you. And we'll see how this works. Like I said, I've never done this before, but let's give this a shot. And I'm writing it down so you guys know that I'm not cheating. Okay, we got a lot of numbers in the chat. Nobody has guessed outside of the range yet, so no one. So you're guessing a number 0 to 500. No one has guessed like 732 or something. Anton did say 1 million. Anton did say 1 million. Okay, just kind of eyeballing this here. This is actually harder than I anticipated because there's so many numbers. I'm trying my best to find the closest number. Okay. So this was the number 178, and I think it was Jerry Castile, although I'm not sure. I think it was Jerry Castile. Is that right? Hello to you, Jerry. I know you, by the way. Good to see you in here. I think Jerry Castile said 212, which I don't see anyone closer than that. Ben Chia got it. What did Ben Chia say? Oh, Ben Chia actually got it right on the number? Wow. Oh, but you guessed twice, Ben Chia. Yeah, originally you said one number and then you said another one. That's cheating. Didn't he guess twice? Yeah, I know he hit on the dot, but he said one number. He said 69, and then he said 178 after that. So you can't guess twice. Yeah, Jerry, do you want to play a game? Jerry is quite a good player. You're over 2,000 USCF, aren't you, Jerry? So yeah, send me a challenge. I'm open for challenges on chess.com, and we'll get this rolling. And put your username in the chat as well, just so I know like which player is challenging me. I know I'm kind of doing this on the fly, guys. I was just trying to figure out some like relatively reasonable way to get a game here. Oh yeah, and as far as time control, let's do like a 5-5 game. Okay, so your username is emerging GM. Let's do like a 5-minute with a 5-second increment game. How about that? It's the same time control I'm using for my climbing the rating ladder series. I think it's pretty good. And while Jerry is getting ready to challenge me, I'm just going to try to answer a couple more questions. All right, here we go. Good luck to you, Jerry. So Jerry is a young man from South Dakota, and he is a very nice guy. Not a lot of chess players in South Dakota, but Jerry is actually influential in the chess scene there. I believe he's actually established like a chess academy / school. I should make a move. I'm like babbling and I'm not even making a move. And Jerry may confirm in the chat whether that's true, but I believe he's established like a school in, is it Sioux Falls? Could be Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Let's play knight c3. So you always got to support people who are trying to make chess events happen, like tournaments, and are trying to provide a forum for people to learn the game. Okay, so Jerry's playing the Semi-Slav. All right, let's play this sharp. I'll go bishop g5. He said Rapid City. Rapid City is the city in question, not Sioux Falls. So hey, if you guys are ever in Rapid City, South Dakota, look up Jerry Castile's chess school. He'll make you feel right at home. And you'll probably learn a thing or two. Okay, bishop e7. This is a little bit passive for black. And this is kind of a Queen's Gambit declined where black has played an early c6. This is not terrible, but personally I don't really think black can aspire to an advantage much. Oh, you don't do it anymore. Okay, so there is no school. But you tried. I know you were trying to make something happen there for a while. Okay, castle. I'm going to castle as well. Take c4. Trying to follow the chat too. Isaac says, honestly, I don't like 5-5 for climbing the rating ladder. It gets a bit hectic. Yeah, I try to strike a balance between like finding a good time control where I can get a bunch of games in, but also be able to commentate. 5-5 maybe is not the most ideal time control, but as far as getting a lot of games in, I think it's reasonable. All right, so Jerry plays c5, so moving the c pawn again, but trying to offload it. I might try to get into an IQP scenario. So you know what? I think I'm gonna let him. I'm gonna let him take on d4 if he wants, and then I'll probably recapture with the pawn. We'll see what play I kind of get out of this. I could play knight takes too, but somehow I don't think knight takes is going to be too challenging. Although c takes d4, knight takes d4, maybe I have bishop takes e6 in some cases. So we'll see how that works out. Game time decision, whether I'll play e takes d4 or knight takes d4. We'll see. Travis says, if John loses, he must put shoe on head. That would be tough because I'm not wearing any shoes right now, and all my shoes are downstairs. So Matthew says, John, you are giving your strategy away if he is listening to the stream. Yeah, I know, but I don't know. Maybe I'll. Who knows if Jerry is listening to the stream? But if he is, maybe I'll throw him a curveball and say like, yeah, you should totally go there. And then it turns out that that is actually a bad move. No, I wouldn't do that, but it would be kind of funny if that happened. Okay, a6, so maybe black is looking to play b5. I could play a4 in an effort to stop it. I could also take on c5. I'm not sure taking on c5 really gives us much. Okay, let's play a4. Let's just put a stop to b5. Ah, Jerry says he is watching. So he says go for it. Yeah. 20 Michael T says, about how long does it usually take to get from 1500 to NM? That really depends. I mean, it could be 2 years if you're a very talented young player. It could be a lifetime. You know, it really depends on how much time you have to dedicate to chess study and what your talent is and what your capacity for hard work is. It helps if you're about 9 years old and highly motivated and your brain is like a sponge. So that's why you have a lot of young masters out there. But for everyone else, that's going from 1500 to national master is a serious challenge. Okay, b6. So I think Jerry's looking to put the bishop on b7. I could play rook fd1. I could also take on c5. I think I'm going to play rook fd1. Just x-ray that queen on d8. We'll see how he reacts. James Dang says, are you going to upload this? Absolutely, I'm going to upload this. Yeah, it's going to go up on the channel immediately after I kill this stream. It's a nice feature of streaming on YouTube, is that it goes directly there. Eric Josiah Tamambo says, how big is your king in the background? Looks huge. It's probably about, I don't know, 2.5, 3 feet high, something like that. I have it propped up on like my printer. That's why, if you couldn't tell, I mean, pretty clearly it's underneath something. And it's made of like some like corrugated wood, I think. It's not plastic, it's like some corrugated wood. Ben Chia says, John challenged me on chess.com. But Ben Chia, I don't think you got the number. You guessed like at least 2 times that I saw. So that disqualifies you. I'm sorry. You got to play by the rules. One guess. If people were allowed to guess multiple times, that would be a disaster. If you guess the right number, I'd be happy to play you. Okay, so queen c7, kind of getting out of the x-ray along the d file. Jerry's taking a little time here, so maybe I can sharpen the game and try to exploit that. So there's some tension with the c and the d pawns. Like maybe I could push d5. D5, e takes d5. Which way would I take back? If knight takes, Knight takes, bishop takes. I'm actually hitting that bishop on, or that rook on a8, and this is hanging. So d5 could be interesting. Kind of like the look of that. I mean, he might respond with e5 and keep it closed, but I kind of like my position in that case too. Okay, let's do it. 116 for Jerry. Jerome David says, what would you have done professionally if not chess education? That's a really good question. I was in law school for a little while, so I was studying to become a lawyer. In retrospect, I'm glad I didn't do that. I think I would have done okay in law, but my undergrad degree was in business. But to be honest, I have no idea. I think there's a number of potential avenues I could have explored. It's really hard for me to say. Ben Chia says, haha, you didn't really state the rules for getting the number. That's true, but it was kind of implied that you can't just guess like a billion times. So, yes, I didn't state the rules, but yeah, one guess per person, no more than that. Okay, knight b8. Ooh, that looks really passive. So knight b8, I'm looking at a couple things now. One, I can try to play d6, force Jerry to take the pawn with his bishop, and then take on f6. So like d6, bishop takes d6, bishop takes f6, g takes f6, knight e4 maybe, attacking d6 and also f6. But he can play bishop e7, and I think he's fine. It'd be safest to just take on e6 and try to prove that this is a weak pawn. I also kind of like the idea of playing e4, though, and really trying to emphasize my dominance in the center. That's kind of the direction I'm leaning. Also, bishop takes f6 is interesting. Let's go with e4, though. This looks like a good way to keep the pressure on, and he's really low on time. Yeah, Jerry has to hurry. There is a 5-second increment, but that's not a lot of time. Matthew Paternoster says, why did you choose to live in Minnesota? Minnesota is my home state, and I really like it here. Even though I've kind of lived in various places in the U.S., I always kind of had it in the back of my head I would come back to Minnesota. I very much like the quality of life here. People are very nice. I feel at home. I don't mind the winters, and our summers are beautiful here. I like going to the lake, of which we have over 10,000 of them. So overall, Minnesota suits me excellently. Minneapolis, St. Paul is a nice metropolis. It's not too big. It's not too small. I live right outside the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul. I'm in like the southern suburbs, and it's like a 10 or 15 minute drive maximum to both downtowns where everything is. I really like it. Okay, so my bishop is under attack. I can play bishop h4, or I can take on f6. If I take on f6 and Jerry takes with the bishop, then I can play d6, attacking the queen, followed by e5. Just establish like a huge pawn wedge. That looks pretty massive. But I can also keep the tension. You know, I'm going to keep the tension. Given how low he is on time, I think keeping the tension is good. Yeah, rook d8. So let's see something here. If e5, knight takes d5, bishop takes d5, e takes d5, knight takes d5, and I think we're going to win the exchange out of that. Yeah, that should win the exchange. e5, knight takes d5, bishop takes d5, pawn takes d5, knight takes d5, forking the queen of the bishop, rook takes d5, rook takes d5. That's an exchange. He might have some compensation, but looks good to me. So yeah, if knight takes d5, bishop takes d5, recapture is the plan. Ooh, and I won on time. All right. Yeah, good game, Jerry. It was a short one. I think you just spent too much time. But I would not play this opening line if I were you. If you're going to play Semislav, oftentimes you don't want to be putting your bishop on e7. This is not the ideal square for this piece. In the line that I chose, you played the Cambridge Springs variation, which is knight bd7. After e3, the way to follow this up would be queen a5. You want to develop the queen out here and try to follow with bishop b4 or knight e4 and attack that pin knight on c3. I think the way you played it, like at best, you're going to get kind of an inferior Queen's Gambit declined with Bishop E7. Ah, Jerry says, I was busy, girlfriend trouble. Sure, blame it on the girlfriend. Nah, no worries. Maybe we'll play again in the future. Yeah, after this, I think it was a little tough for Black. Like Black never quite solved their development issues. Potentially here, maybe Black doesn't have time for Queen C7. Because once I get D5 in, I think it's unpleasant. Yeah, I'm really coming down hard in the center. If pawn takes, I was ready to take with the bishop. Although actually, maybe take, bishop takes, and then Black would want to avoid knight takes d5 because of knight takes d5 double attacking, but maybe bishop b7. This might actually be fine for Black. So it's possible that Jerry had a decent position there. Badass Newbie says, does Minnesota have more lakes or does Wisconsin have more lakes? Oh, Minnesota, definitely. Not even close. Yeah, we have quite a few of them. Okay, let's do another number. So to state the rules once again, you can only guess once. All right, and I'm not going to time you guys or anything, but I'm going to write down another number, and we'll see who's closest. One guess per person. If you see someone guessing twice, you can feel free to call them out. Call them a dirty cheater. So I've got my number. I want to play a few more games. Romeo Santos says, what's the schedule for streaming? At the moment, there is none. If I can figure out a day that makes sense for me to do it regularly, I will. But for the moment, this is just kind of an impromptu thing, and it's just Sunday night, and I wanted to stream and try it. So, okay, looking. I'm going to give it a few more seconds and then take a number. Yeah, there's an advantage to typing your number in later, a little later, right? You can try to kind of eyeball the numbers that people are saying and adjust accordingly, right? Okay, I'm cutting off the answers now. Just scanning. I think I know who won, but I'm just verifying. Okay, so the number was 412, 412. And I saw someone guess 420, whoever that was. Sam Raymer, the very first person in the chat today. Sam was the first guy to join the chat. So he guessed 420. He was 8 away. I don't see anyone else who was closer. So yeah, Sam, if you want to play a game, shoot me a challenge. Yeah, and let's make it a 5+5 game. Wait, there was a 411? Someone said 411? I didn't see that. If there was a 411, then I got to go back and take a look at that. Oh, actually, yeah, that's right. Antti Riunanen. Sounds like a Finnish name. Antti? Actually, yeah, you were closest. You guessed 411. You were 1 away. Amazing. So if you want to challenge me, Sam, I'll play you right after this game. Or if Antti's not available, I will play him. So, Antti, type in the chat if you're available, and you got first dibs. Sam, you're up next, though, if you're willing to stick around. You guys are on the ball. I saw a lot of answers in like the high 300s, low 400s. You guys know I was going. You guys have a read on me? Do you know like what number I'm going to choose? Antti with the soul read. I will await your challenge. I have a tell. Oh, you heard me right. You can tell by the way I write. that what direction I'm going. Oh yeah, sorry, Isevios. The range is 0 to 500. If I didn't make that clear. Anti says, not quite sure how to challenge you on chess.com. What's your username, Anti? Type it your username in. I'll find you. It might take a minute, but I can find you on there. Jay Hanley Smith says, John, do you also play poker? I played a little poker, yeah, in the past. Nothing like too serious, but there was a big online poker craze starting about 10 years ago. And yeah, I used to play, and I know a lot of chess playing poker players, or sorry, poker playing chess players, people I know in the chess world who have done very well in poker. I honestly don't find poker that interesting. It was always just kind of something to do and something to do with friends. Chess is a lot more interesting compared to poker, in my opinion. Okay, so I have Auntie's username, Yurja. I'm going to find you. I will find you. Okay. Yeah, it's easier if we're like friends on chess.com, but I know that's kind of hard to figure out. So what I'm going to do is like just manually go try to locate you. Make sure you're logged into the live chess server, though. That's the only thing. Otherwise, I won't be able to see you. Yeah, so log into the live chess server, Auntie. Got a question, how old am I? I'm, yeah, 29. I'm 29 years old. Okay, Auntie, I still don't... Oh, there you are. Okay, I found you. Gonna challenge you to a game. We're gonna make this 5-5. Let's do it. Game number 2 coming up. Jerry did his best, but he had girlfriend troubles and had to bow out early. The girlfriend really did a number to his clock. So let's see if Auntie is any better. Eric Billinghurst says, there's no luck in chess, just skill. Yeah, that's right. There's very few elements of luck in chess. I mean, the only elements of luck in chess are kind of external factors like pairings and how many whites or blacks you get in a tournament or something. Beyond that, yeah, there's not really elements of luck in the game. Yeah, I sent you a challenge, Auntie. I'm going to send you another one just in case you don't see it. Go Fix Mix says, good morning, John. It is 7 a.m. in London. Yeah, glad I was able to catch you, European guys. Thank you guys for following my channel and supporting me. Really appreciate it. Okay, did you get that challenge? Check under your alerts tab. It's there. I promise you it's there, Auntie. If you see the alerts tab, check under that. You should see it. So I sent 2 of them. Let's try one more time. Maybe if I make it an unrated game, I wouldn't think there's any issue with that. I have the alerts tab, but no challenges, he says. Challenging the right player, Yurja. Try now. This is the kind of thing that happens in a live stream. I can't edit out some of the dead time, unfortunately. Yeah, or type accept. I think my settings are such that I should be able to send to people. Um, challenges from everyone. Yeah. Don't see a problem. Okay, Sam, if you're still there, since Auntie's like having issues, I still want to play you, Auntie, but if you're not able to figure it out, that's fine. Sam, maybe just challenge me or send me your username and I'll find you. We'll get another game going. Chocolate says, "How's it going tonight, John? Glad I caught the stream. It's going well. Yeah, I had a good weekend, so just kind of relaxing with some chess. It was a productive weekend. Caught up on some sleep. That chess.com streamers challenge, I was pumped for that. Like the night before, like I had a hard time sleeping. I was so excited for it. So yeah, I was catching up on sleep a little bit this weekend and just enjoying it. The weather's been great, so um, I've been looking forward to that. All right, Sam. Sam has given me his username, so I'm going to try to find you. Let's see if we can locate him. Ah, okay. He just logged in. We are actually friends, so that makes it even easier. Challenge to a game. We'll make this a 5-5 as well. Let's get it popping, Sam. Let's do this. All right, and we're off. So Sam from Canada, I'm going to play e4 against you. Let's see how you react to that. Oh, Canada, our home and native land. Canada is our neighbor to the north here in Minnesota. And he's playing the Scandinavian against me, using my own weapon against me. Knight f6. This is an inferior move to queen takes d5. Don't you know that, Sam? No, actually, it's not bad. I'm going to go bishop b5 check because that's kind of a disruptive move. Now black has to block the check somehow, and I'm hoping that this like misplaces his pieces. So like now after bishop d7, I can pull the bishop back here. This is just one line I found to be annoying when playing against this variation, so hence why I'm doing it now, bishop c4. I believe bishop g4 is the best move now for black, trying to attack my queen with tempo and thereby opening up the queen on d5. But Sam actually gambits. Okay, I'm going to take this pawn. And he pre-moved knight takes c6. He is not backing down. Let's go d4. I want to occupy the center before Sam has a chance to play e5. I might put my knight on e2. I would like to get my king castled pretty quickly. I might put it on e2. Actually, now that he has played e6 and therefore cannot play bishop g4 pinning me, I feel better about going to f3. Speeding up, it says, it seems John has followers from all around the world, Peru, Romania, Canada, and Spain, and probably more other places. Yeah, that's like honestly, that's like the coolest thing about doing this channel is it has really reinforced in my eyes like how universal chess is. Like it's one of the most universal games or activities you can imagine, really. Just I bet within this chat we probably have 20 countries represented, easy. There's 92 players watching. Maybe 20 is a stretch. You can even type in the chat where you're from, actually, if you want. It'd be interesting to see. Probably close to 10 at least. Bishop back to d6. Okay, I'm going to castle. If Sam castles, I'll probably be trying to develop my queenside pieces now. Like I think bishop g5 is a decent move, just pinning the knight on f6. Hopefully I can play knight bd2 thereafter, maybe put the knight on e4 and proceed from there. I don't think Sam has like a ton of compensation for the sacrifice pawn. I think, Sam, you probably have to get more scope with the bishops, especially that light square bishop. Yeah, like this is kind of the right idea, e5, trying to open it up. I wonder if if you realize that the bishop on d6 would be undefended. Because let's say d takes e5. If you take with the knight, I can play queen takes d6. Although I admit you could take my bishop on c4 then. But this is what I like to see, the fact that you're trying to open the position, you're trying to gain some compensation in the form of open lines, in the form of an initiative for that sacrifice material. So I can take e5 like I said, but I'm not sure I want to. Maybe I want to play something different. Actually, no, let's see how Sam responds. We're going to take the bull by the horns, just open it up. Yeah, we've got a lot of people checking in from various places. New Zealand, Costa Rica, Poland, Kazakhstan, Spain, a lot of U.S. states, Texas, Delaware, Australia, someone says, Bulgaria, Colombia, Zimbabwe. I mean, I can't verify if all of you guys are telling the truth, but I think that just kind of reinforces the point that chess is just an incredibly universal game, and that's the coolest thing about having this channel, in my opinion, is the fact that I have kind of this reach, really, and I'm interacting with people I otherwise would never interact with because of that on this sort of scale. Yeah, I mean, maybe knight takes e5 on the previous move would have been better, because if queen takes d6, knight takes c4 was possible. Mr. K. Golchenko says, did you win the voter's choice for the streamers challenge? Mr. K, the poll is still going on. If you navigate to the main chess.com page, you'll see it there on the right. I think it's open for another 3, maybe 4 days. Last I checked, I had like a 1% deficit against Danny Wrench. He had like 22% of the vote. I had 21. So I know you guys are fighting hard to get me at the top of the streamers challenge fan favorite poll. So I appreciate that. We'll see how it shakes out. It's pretty cool. I mean, winning the 500 would be nice, but I don't care too much about that. It's just it's kind of neat. I'm glad people appreciate the stream. Jonas Tang says, John, have you ever been to Australia? No, I have not. I've never been to Australia. I would love to go, though, because it seems amazing. Looking for some other questions. Yeah, if you guys definitely have questions, feel free to ask them. Sometimes there's some downtime in between moves. I think Sam has a reasonable position still. I mean, I still need to get my knight in the game, but he is down a pawn, and I have the bishop pair, so he kind of has to work hard to find a way to pressurize me. And he should probably get his queen off the back rank and connect the rooks, but he can't play like queen c7, for instance, because I take on f6. Maybe queen b6 would be interesting. It's not a bad move because it eyes the b2 pawn, and also the queen would be defending f6 laterally. If Sam plays queen b6, we know he's tuning in and he is maybe using my piece of advice. We'll see. Hakan Dola says, and the deficit with Danny has gone. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, if I pulled level with Danny in the poll or even went ahead of him, that would be amazing. Hello to you, Hakan. I know you are on Twitter a lot, so hello to you. Bargra says, John, are you wearing pants? Yes, I am wearing pants. I know you would have no way of verifying that unless I got up and showed you, but yes, I am wearing pants. Turtle Joe says, John, what's the difference between controlling and occupying a square? Well, controlling a square means you're influencing that square. By controlling a square, you could be occupying it, but you could also be like looking at it long range. Like take this f4 square, for instance. My bishop on g5 controls that square, but my bishop is not occupying it. Occupying it means just exactly that. You're on exactly that square. You're not on a different square but still attacking that square. Okay, bishop g4. I'm skeptical of this move for black because it offers exchanges, first of all. And generally, when you've already sacrificed material, you shouldn't be looking for exchanges. Yeah, he even says in the chat, not a fan of that move, but had to play something. Yeah, see, I'm thinking about a few things here. I can take on f6 with the bishop, and then if queen takes f6, I'll have bishop takes g4, and black will be losing a piece because they are -1 defender by virtue of having lost that knight on f6. So bishop takes f6 is kind of tempting. Maybe black can insert bishop takes e2 or queen takes d1. I can also take on g4 right away, or even take their queen. But let's see how Sam reacts to bishop takes f6. Because with the time, it's going to put him under a test here. There's various captures that are possible, and I'm not taking it easy on any of you guys who play me in these live streams. Let it be known right now in the very first live stream, I'm not taking it easy on you guys. That's how you're going to get better, is people who are going to push you. So no soft playing here. Okay, bishop takes e2. Yeah, so Sam has to do something like that to shake it up. So let's think about this. So if I take on d8 with my bishop, they will take on d1. And I can take with my rook, but then they get to recapture the bishop. I am still up a pawn after all is said and done there. But I think Sam would be happy about that. Maybe I can play queen takes d8 right now, and then after rook takes, like then take with my bishop. They can take on f1 though, but I think I see a sneaky move at the end. So here's what I'm thinking: queen takes d8, and let's say rook a takes d8, then bishop takes d8, bishop takes f1. So at that moment, all those exchanges have been equal. White still has a pawn advantage, but nobody is coming out ahead in those exchanges. However, I have the move after that. And the move I'm seeing is bishop c7, attacking that knight on e5, and I get my bishop out of danger then. And if that knight moves, then I'll have a chance to take the bishop on f1. So that's the line I'm looking at here. I'm going to play it. And Sam pre-moved that capture. So now I'm going to do this. If he takes with the rook, like then I can play rook e1 is what I'm thinking. So this is like a series of exchanges, and our bishops are kind of desperados. A desperado is a piece that you are probably going to have to part with at some point, so you just try to gain as much material as you can for it. Like this bishop is kind of on a kamikaze mission. But I can save my bishop now by playing bishop c7 and attacking that knight. And I don't see what black does about this off the top of my head. I mean, he's got two pieces under attack, and my very first chess coach told me the double attack is the key to chess. And it makes perfect sense. If you double attack and your opponent can only respond with one move, I mean, double attack enough times and you're probably winning stuff. Yeah, so they take on g2. I have a choice now to take the bishop or the knight. I think I'll take the bishop just because I think maybe it'd be nice to get rid of the strong bishop on the light squares. Knight c4. Let's play b3. Just kick this knight away. I still haven't moved these guys yet, but I'm going to be completing my development very soon. Okay, rook c8. I think I'm just going to take the knight because after they take my bishop, then I can play knight d2 and complete my development. And I'm up a piece. There's no use in trying to think too hard. Sam makes a move to free up his king, so the king can go to h7. He's freed up his back rank. Let's play rook e1 and just seize the file. Let's play rook e5, attacking h5. g6. So my king is not participating yet. Maybe I could play other moves now, but I like the look of king f3. I don't want to move my knight because that is defending c4, but getting my king closer looks pretty good. I'll play rook d5 now, which stops the threat of rook takes d2, and I'm kind of bullying black with trades. I mean, they can't rightfully trade down. They're down a piece. So that's often one big advantage you have as the side that's ahead of material. Aside from just being up that material, you can often go into bully mode and propose trades that you know your opponent cannot really accept, because any accepting of such trades like kind of brings them closer to a losing endgame. 94, I'm just stopping the rook from infiltrating. King G7. Let's bring our king up a little bit more. King F4. For the moment, black has everything defended, but I don't think that'll be lasting too much longer. Let's play C5. That pawn was attacked. Makes sense to advance it. I might try to walk my king in even further, like King E5, King D4, or King D6. Yeah, and Sam just resigned. So, yeah, this... I think, as I was saying earlier, Sam, I think your issue was that after you sacrificed the pawn by going C6 and allowing me to take, you just didn't get enough play for it. I think you got to play this phase of the game more aggressively if you're going to make such an idea work. Like playing E6 while well-intentioned, trying to get your dark square bishop out, it blocks that light square bishop, so it's probably not giving you enough compensation. Auntie, if you're still in the chat, I'd like to give you another chance to play. If you're still there, let me know, and if you've solved the issues with accepting the challenge, we can still play. Otherwise, I think I'm going to do another number challenge. We'll give Auntie just a chance to respond. J Bartholomew 2 Mega says, I think John has the most dedicated fans of all streamers. As evidenced by your username, I guess. Yeah, I think the support I've received is just amazing. Like it's, I can tell people really appreciate the content I'm putting out there because you guys definitely show it. I really, really appreciate it. You know, stuff like the poll going on on chess.com is evidence of that. So I hope to continue putting stuff out there for you guys because I know how much you guys appreciate it. Another question, John, could you do a strictly Q&A stream just to talk to your subscribers/fans? I think we would love that. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm trying here, just trying to do Q&A plus playing games at the same time. Romeo Santos says, John, have you seen much of Chess Network's videos? If so, what do you think of his game? Yeah, I've seen a fair amount of Chess Network's videos. He's probably, well, he is the most prolific chess YouTuber out there, and he has videos for going back many years. What do I think about his play? I mean, he's definitely a decent player. He's, I believe, a national master. Don't know a whole lot about Chess Network. I don't think many people do. He's kind of secretive. Kind of keeps to himself. He doesn't collaborate with other YouTubers. He doesn't do dual commentaries. I know because I've asked. I would love to play him. One of the most common questions I get on my channel is, can you play Chess Network? And I would love to, but he declined that. I sent him a message a while back, and he said he wasn't interested in that, unfortunately. So, which is fine. I mean, he can do whatever he wants. It's just kind of a shame because I know people would probably like to see that, and he is in a position with how many followers and subscribers he has to do some cool stuff, kind of like outreach to other channels and try to interact with other YouTubers and whatnot. But at the end of the day, it is his channel, so I don't hold anything against him for that. But I do like his videos. I think he posts very good instructional videos. His editing is great. So I think he's done a lot to bring chess to the masses. I mean, just go on and see how many people say, like, I got into chess because of Chess Network. I mean, you can see that on chess.com and other sites, and there's a ton of people out there who've been introduced to the game because of him. Okay, let's, I didn't see Auntie put anything in the chat, so let's take another number. I think I'm going to play one more game and then maybe answer a few more questions and then call this a wrap. We're already at 1:20, an hour and 20 minutes on the stream. So let's do one more number. Don't pick up any reads from the fact that I'm writing it right now. And you can guess 0 to 500, and you can only guess once. That's the stipulation. Oh, Auntie sent a challenge. check your challenge list. Did you really? Nope, I don't see that. I don't think Auntie sent me a challenge, unless he says it in the chat. So pick a number 0 to 500, and closest one, I'll ask to challenge me, or I'll find them and challenge. Can only guess once. Waiting, waiting, waiting. Give it a little bit more time. All right, 5 more seconds, and then I'm closing the voting. Someone says I want to change my guess. Yeah, you can't do that, unfortunately. Okay, voting is closed. So the number this time is 404. It's a 404 error, but in this case, it's the right number. So 404. Didn't stray too far from 412. And let's see who got it. I didn't actually see who was closest here. You guys thought I was going low. I actually stayed around the same. Who was closest? Someone tell me who was closest, because I'm trying to scroll through and see. I know Sam Raymer guessed 420 again, but Sam, sorry, since we just played, I'm not going to pick you again, unfortunately. Let's see. Not that many people were close to 404. I really don't see too many who were even close. Everyone was guessing in the 100s and 200s. It was like a group think mentality. Ryan Trixabel, I see you were, I don't know, maybe 60 points away, 60 numbers away. Ryan, if you want to play, because you're like the only closest one I see. Will Bobsled. Okay, someone said Will Bobsled. What did Will Bobsled guess? So I didn't see that one. Will Bobsled said 421. Okay, yeah, Will Bobsled. Send me a challenge on chess.com or let me know your username. Type your username. You are the final opponent of the night, Mr. Bobsled. This is your chance, man. Your time to shine. Hopefully you don't freeze up now. I know some people might guess, and then if they get chosen, they're like, they get stage fright. They're like, I don't know if I want to play. You know, all 90 of the people watching right now on stream are gonna know. What if I embarrass myself? But don't worry, we're all getting better. Even myself, I'm not above blundering. It's very possible I'll blunder sometime pretty badly. I posted videos on my channel where I've made gross blunders. Actually, the bullet video I posted yesterday was insanely bad. It's one of the worst bullet arenas I've ever posted on Lichess. And I don't mind posting it. In fact, I like posting it because I want to be complete, and I want to demonstrate to people that you know, you will go up and down in chess. You'll have your bad days and your good days, and it's not all straight line improvement. There's going to be peaks and valleys, and you're going to have to take some knocks. Chess is the school of hard knocks, and sometimes you need to take a beating to get better and progress. Will Bobsled said he dropped his T. That's why he's being a little slow right now. He dropped his T. I got a challenge from someone, but I don't know if it's Will Bobsled, so I'm not going to accept until he says what his username is. Let's see if there's other questions I can answer. Finns, when are you next playing on Lichess? Probably in the next day or two. Yeah, I'll probably be playing some bullet arenas on there soon. So yeah, probably pretty soon. Mr. K. Golchenko says, "What's your favorite movie?" My favorite movie is The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I really like that movie with Clint Eastwood. It's a classic spaghetti western movie. Love it. Um, in fact, there's a trio of movies: Hang 'Em High and what's the other movie in that series? For a Few Dollars More, I think, is the other ones. And just brilliant, really funny movie. It's got action. It's got everything. Um, I think I tend more towards like the drama and the action style movies. Oh, Will Bobsled. All right, here we go. Trying to accept his challenge right now. Let's do this. All right, Mr. Bobsled from down under, Australia. What time is it, Will Bobsled in Australia? Okay, so he opens with D4. Let's play a Dutch defense, an opening that I never play in my normal games. I can't really. I maybe have played this like once or twice in other games I posted online, but we'll make it interesting. Play a Dutch in homage to Simon Williams. Let's play a Leningrad. I think he likes the classical Dutch, but I'll play a Leningrad and just see how this turns out. This knight is coming into F4, where it might kind of latch on to that E6 square, perhaps. So knight F4, maybe D6. Shout out to my student John, another John, who has a love affair with the Leningrad Dutch. He swears by it. He's telling me all the time how it's the best opening in the world. So this game is for you, John. Brian S says no Tombstone. Tombstone is an awesome movie too. I really like Tombstone as well, but I like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly even more. And as far as TV shows, I don't watch a whole lot of them because you can easily get sucked into TV shows. You have to be careful. But House of Cards is a recent show that I like a lot. I like Kevin Spacey a lot as Frank Underwood. Knight C3, I think I'll play E5. I can make this break right away. I don't see why not. This is the break that Black often wants to get in the Leningrad Dutch, so I'm just going to do it right away. I posted a game against Computer Forum Possible where the engine annihilated me when I was on the white side of a Dutch, and it also got in E5 pretty quickly. So I'm trying to play somewhat similar there. Kareem says, John, when you have a baby boy, would you name him after your favorite chess player or relate his name with anything that has to do with chess? We've really come full circle in this live stream. The kind of questions we get here. Not that that's not an interesting question, but at the start of this live stream, I was like, oh, like let's have some instructional questions, but I'm not opposed to other questions, and we've really come full circle. But no, I don't see a circumstance where I'd name my potential kid after a chess player. Yeah, that's like never crossed my mind, and I'm a long way from having kids too. It's not on my radar at the moment. E4, let's see. So I can take on E4. If I take, then the thing is, this knight is a little misplaced, but I wonder if takes like knight G5 could be possible. Actually, E4 might be a good reaction to me having broken the center with E5. Because let's say F takes E4, then knight G5, and they're attacking that pawn multiple times with both knights plus the bishop. I guess I could play bishop F5 then and maybe try to... Oh no, but I'm only defending it twice and it'd be attacked 3 times, so that would not work. Oftentimes they play F4 in response to E4. I'm just trying to figure out how that would work if like F4, G takes F4, I don't know, knight C6 or something. I'm not entirely sure, so I'm just going to make a developing move because I can't figure out the ramifications of pushing the pawn or taking, and they don't look that favorable to me. So when there's pawn tension, if you're examining various tension situations, whether you like advance pass or you take, and nothing seems to be working. You should feel free to keep the tension. Just preserve it for another move. If you can't figure out what's going on with the tension, there's a decent chance your opponent also can't figure it out. So you might just want to say, let's just go with something and see how it works. Make our opponent make a tough decision. Kind of remains to be seen what this knight will be doing on h3. I'm wondering if it's going to jump to g5 or if it's going to go somewhere else. People are putting potential baby names in the chat for my non-existent and non-expected kid. Jose Raul Bartholomew, Hedgehog Bartholomew, Scandy Bartholomew, Orangutan Bartholomew, Bird Bartholomew. These are just opening names. Rondep G Bartholomew. Michael Mosevich Bartholomew. I like that. A little Russian influence. I have no Russian in my background, so I feel like maybe if I give my kid a Russian name, then maybe they have more potential automatically in chess. Bishop e3, so that takes control over d4. I can also play bishop e6. Bishop e6 seems logical. But at bishop e6, I think they might jump into d5. But then e4 is weak, though. Okay, let's try that. Bishop e6. I'm a little bit behind on time. I got to watch that against Mr. Bobsled. So we'll see if they opt to go for knight d5. I'm just not sure with that tension on e4 whether they want to. Radu Furtat says, how does your daily schedule look? Work, school, then chess/editing in the evening. I'm not in school. No, I graduated college. I was in law school for a brief time, but that was like 5 years ago now. So I do chess full time, and I mainly teach. And nowadays my schedule is I teach Monday through Friday, mainly in the evenings, U.S. time. I work a lot in the evenings and the afternoons, U.S. time, which makes sense. I have to schedule lessons when people are available. And probably 95% of my students are in the U.S., so hence I'm going to be working a lot of evenings. Weekends are pretty normal for me. Saturday, Sunday I take off. And yeah, I kind of do my videos whenever I have free time. Lately, I have been doing them on the weekends, so hence why you're seeing this stream on Sunday night / Monday morning. B3, so this move makes sense, just defending the pawn on c4. I think knight g5 could be dangerous, so I have a feeling I should play h6. There's also knight g4 though too. Now let's play h6, just to rule out knight g5. Maybe I have a chance to make this knight look kind of silly on h3, try to deprive it of squares to jump to. Jack says, are your students a wide range of ages or mostly younger / in school? Very wide range. I teach kids as young as 5 years old, and I also teach some retirees. In fact, one of my most dedicated students is dedicated in the sense that they're very into lessons and they take them very seriously. He's approaching 80 years old, which is awesome. The fact that I have that type of range of students. But of course, that's kind of rare. Most of my students are younger players, under the age of 18. Tournament players usually, though I do teach a lot of beginning players and even players who don't play tournaments at all. So Bobsled plays queen c1. This attacks my pawn on h6. I got to bear that in mind. I could play knight g4, which attacks the bishop and also defends h6. But then bishop c5 attacks my rook. So I think I'm just gonna play this. And if rook d1, I'll slide my queen over to e8. I don't think I want to step onto e7 with my queen because knight d5 would come with tempo then. And the knight coming to d5 could be a sore spot for me. I don't think I really want to take it because that's going to allow white to land a strong pawn on d5. So we'll see if I ever have to deal with that situation. Mug and Flow says, quick tips for a new chess player. Try to play as much as possible at the outset. You're just getting into chess. Don't feel like you have to know a whole lot to enjoy chess. Just start playing and see what happens. I think people get really bogged down and they get overly stressed out about their chess improvement when they're first starting out, when they have the mentality that they need to play at a high level before they actually start playing, really. So they'll go crazy trying to study a lot, and they'll be so focused on memorizing every single opening that they forget that they're actually getting into chess to have fun, probably. And you should just start playing and playing longer games too. So I've often recommended playing 15-minute games with an increment, like a 10-second increment or longer. I think that's an ideal time control. So play longer games. Maybe start solving some tactics. It wouldn't hurt to learn like some basic checkmates too. King and queen versus king and rook versus king. But yeah, playing a lot, solving some tactics, trying to learn a little bit from your games, but mainly just trying to get a lot of games under your belt. That's what's going to bring about the most improvement. White plays f3, reinforcing e4. I could play a queen move. I kind of feel like I should play a queen move to vacate the file. Try to get a rook to d8. I'm not sure about the nature of that d file, whether I want to do that. I still sort of like the idea of getting my knight to g4. F3 does prepare knight f2. I have a feeling they're going to drop the knight back there. I'm getting a little low on time, so I'm just going to play knight d4. I think this is good. Jump the knight to the center and maybe look to follow with c5 and cement it there. Also, if this knight moves, like now knight d5 would be a huge blunder in view of knight e2. Kareem says, what did your parents first think when you told them you'd be a chess player? Were they supportive of your career choice? Yeah, my parents are awesome, and they were very supportive. You know, like any other parents, I assume they probably had their doubts at first, but at no point did they ever say, John, you should be more practical. It's ridiculous to try to pursue chess. They never said that. They always knew that chess was something I kind of wanted to try professionally. And my parents are awesome, and they very much have supported me throughout my life and chess career. Yeah, I'm thankful to have both of my parents with me. Hi, Mom and Dad, if you're watching. And they've been my biggest fans in chess. So rook d1. This move attacks my knight. Again, I can cement the knight. I think I'm going to do that. Let's just play c5. I really like the fact that this defends my knight both ways. And again, this knight can't move. Will is getting low on time. He's going to be below 10 seconds in a second. Knight back to f2. Maybe queen c8. Yeah, let's play queen c8. Just trying to get off this file. Not sure this is the best place for the queen, but I'm kind of thinking like maybe eventually I can take and try to open something up. Let's play a6, just rule out anything here. Ooh, they blundered, knight takes b3. Yeah, they took their eye off that pawn for just a moment. Yeah, now this comes, and we can take that rook. Knight d5. Wow, diving in. This knight is trapped, so I can't get out via c2 or b3. I'm a little surprised by that move, but it actually makes some sense. So if I take, they take f6 and then take on e4. Let's take this way. And then maybe try to play e4 and open that long diagonal. I like the look of that. That Leningrad bishop might have a say in this one, bearing down on the queen on b2 and also potentially a rook on a1 if white captures there. Okay, queen takes a1, but this looks highly dangerous for white. I've got all these discoveries. Knight takes d5, knight g4. I can take on f3 first. I think I'm going to do knight takes d5 because I'm attacking their queen, and the queen kind of has to go to c1 or a3 to defend the bishop, which I'm also attacking with the knight. Yeah, let's just grab that. That's a nice bishop to get. Probably bishop d4 is good. Anchor this piece in. Maybe e3 next. I'm not sure I want to take on f3 and open the light square bishop. I think e3 is a pretty good alternative. Nah, but taking is also good. Yeah, well, actually, if take queen e7, bishop g7. Let's not risk it. Let's just play e3. Keep the e-file closed. I mean, when your opponent's in time pressure, the last thing you want to do is give them easy moves to make. And queen e7 check might have been an easy move to make. Whereas this, I'm kind of depriving white of more counterplay. knight b4, so they're trying to get that knight into d5. If I take, the point is that they have rook takes d4. But I can take and then simplify the position further. Like on rook takes d4, I'm going to play this move now. And it's true that I might lose this pawn, but I don't mind that because so much material is coming off the board that I'm willing to part with one pawn to make the position simpler. Yeah, now I'm going to play queen d7, and I'm going to try to come down to d1. Queen d1 check. So will Bobsled resigned? Yeah, queen d1 check is coming, and the queens are coming off the board. So that kind of boiled down to a blunder that Will made in mild time pressure. Well, pretty severe time pressure. We were both getting pretty low. Yeah, this a4 move, which allowed knight takes b3, forking the queen and the rook. Other than that, I think Will played pretty reasonably. That knight on h3, I think if you're going to play this line, I have a feeling the knight's got to go to f4 sooner. I mean, maybe it should just be transferred here immediately. Bishop g7 and knight to f4. Because as played, white never was able to get this knight moving forward into my half of the board or to that f4 square. Because on f4, it could be ideally placed. I mean, let's say back here white had played that. Let's say after castles, actually. Knight f4 right now. Maybe if I go d6 intending e5, white could play d5 and try to nail me to this square. It's a possibility. Okay, so we played 3 games, and I've been able to answer a lot of your questions, which is awesome. I'm thinking about playing one more game and then calling this a stream, guys. We're at 95 viewers. It's actually gone up a little bit, I think, as people in Europe have been waking up. People in the US are going to sleep or have been asleep. Let's see. Okay, let's do one more game. So I'm going to do one more number. Once again, you can guess between 0 and 500. One guess per person. Let's do this one more time. Fashizzle says, I like how John has a very easy to understand thought process. His strength seems to come from being keenly aware of every piece on the board more than crazy calculations. Yeah, that's an interesting observation, Fashizzle. I think a lot of strong players, like most strong players, have a very keen sense of board awareness. I think you might say that because I probably am able to elucidate better than many strong players you've seen before. But pretty much every player has very good board awareness. Like they just kind of know where pieces are going to be safe and where they're going to be in danger. So you develop that board awareness through playing thousands of games, and it's kind of a sixth sense, if you will, for danger in chess. I got to write down a number because I have not done that yet. Okay, I have a number. I'm going to wait for just a moment before seeing who is the lucky winner. Matsisi says, when will you host a Horde Simul on Lichess? About the same time I'm admitted to the mental institution. That sounds horrible. Horde chess is a variant where one side starts with a row of like 5 pawns, and the other side is playing against the traditional set of pieces. I've played like 1 game of Horde chess in my entire life, so I don't know how good I would be, but yeah, that would be interesting. Okay, voting closed. I have a number. Let's see who's closest. Actually, I'm just going to put up the number because you guys have been doing a good job of telling me who's closest. So the number is 233. 233. Let's see who was closest to that. I see Stefan Muckus says 241. Mr. K. Golchenko actually said 235. 235 is going to be tough to beat. 235 looks like right there. Mr. Golchenko, I think you got that. Let's do it. Yeah, you got that, man. Good guess. What's your username on chess.com, Mr. Golchenko? Yeah, Stefan, you were very close. You were right there. Okay, your username is Ping Pong Playa. All right, I'm going to try to find you, or if you find me first, you can challenge. Let's do a 5-5 game once again. Try to locate you as fast as I can. So this will be the last game, guys. I'll try to answer a few more questions as I'm playing. We're coming up on 2 hours for the stream, though. Pretty good for our first stream, I think. It's been a lot of fun. Ping Pong Playa, I'm looking for you. I don't see you logged in right now. Make sure you're in the live chess server. Oh, there you are. I just found you. All right. See if I can play you. Sent you a challenge, Mr. K. Golchenko, aka Ping Pong Playa. And we're off. Okay, so I played e4 and d4. Let's go back to e4 because Ping Pong Playa is 12-18, and I think they probably see e4 the most. I'd be surprised if from the black side they see some other move more often than e4. So let's just see what his knowledge is like in mainline e4 openings. Maybe he's watched my Climbing the Rating Ladder series and tries to play the lines that I advocate there for black, which are pretty straightforward, like double king pawn lines, e4, e5. So I'm playing the Joko piano with bishop c4. I like bishop c5 here personally as black. Now we're going to have some fun. So Ping Pong Playa plays the two knights defense, knight f6, attacking the pawn on e4, and I'm responding with the most aggressive move, knight g5, attacking f7 and also defending the e4 pawn. And I'm going to try to avoid saying too much because, once again, I'm really curious what his opening knowledge consists of here. Black has to be accurate, I'll say that. Sarath Valpala says, what kind of engines would top players use for their analysis? Do they use custom hardware along with some commercial chess engines? Yeah, I think for the most part, even very top players use stuff that's commercially available, like the newest version of Stockfish and whatnot. I know for one of the World Championship matches, either I think it was Anand, like it came out that they were using some supercomputer, or they had access to a supercomputer with an incredible processor or something. I don't know what kind of engine they were using with that, but yeah, I think they pretty much use the same stuff that everyone else does that's on the market. Okay, so Queen e7 unfortunately doesn't help with the attack on f7. It looks like it kind of should, but remember that the queen is stronger than the bishop and the knight. So if I take this pawn, and I'm going to take it with the bishop, Ping Pong Playa can't take back because they would just lose their queen. So the move there was d5. Black has to play d5. Well, there's also bishop c5, which is the Traxler variation, which is risky but playable. Here I'm going to drop the bishop back, and you can try to figure out white's threat if you don't already see it. Someone else says, can you suggest ways to get to above 800? They said they've been stagnating there. Have you watched my Chess Fundamentals series, Don Bardub, or Climbing the Rating Ladder? Because I kind of specifically talk about fundamental strategies that I think are best to try to learn at that level. If you're under 800, you're making a lot of really gross errors. You probably blunder regularly, and you can learn to rein that in. It's not going to be overnight, but you can learn to rein in the blunders, because that's really what it is. If you're below 1,000, you're probably blundering left and right, and there's very big leaks in your game, if you will. And it's going to be hard to improve until you can rein in the blunders. So check out those series where I specifically discuss that. So here, d6 unfortunately does not address the threat, which is knight f7, and now I've forked the king and the rook. So I'm going to be winning that rook in the corner. Black's queen cannot take my knight because I just take back. So yeah, we're going to go after this rook on h8. Not easy to talk for hours on end. I have a pretty strong voice because I'm used to talking a lot, but even now my voice is showing a little sign of strain. Coming up on 2 hours for the stream. There's no worse feeling like when you're giving like a presentation or talking in front of a group and you just like know your voice is straining. I hate that sensation. It used to happen to me a lot before I was teaching a lot and doing YouTube. Nelson Exclusive Spinal says, John, do you have like an email subscription service where you can send people notices? I kind of bumped into this by luck. Had no idea you were doing this. Yeah, I think that is one aspect of streaming that YouTube has not figured out yet. I don't think it allows you to be notified for live streams. I could be wrong about that. Someone may want to elaborate on that in the chat. If you follow my Twitter, search for me on Twitter, type in my name or Finn0905 and look for me. I am going to try to tweet before I go live and try to give some advance notice. But yeah, unfortunately, there's no notification as of now. Unless I specifically schedule a stream, that might be a possibility. So stay tuned on that. Knight takes e4. So black is grabbing a pawn at least. I can give a check on h5 with my queen, but they might play g6 and block. However, I have knight takes g6 then. So queen h5 check, pawn g6, knight takes g6, and then if h takes g6, I have queen takes g6 check, forking the king and the knight. I think I'm going to do that based on that line. If I was checking just to check, it would not be a good decision. Remember that checks are easy moves to make, and everyone looks at them for the most part. So if you check, it should be for a specific purpose. Just like if you trade pieces, it should be for a specific purpose. Don't check just to give a check. But in this case, I had a follow-up in mind. If g6, I was ready to take with my knight. Here I can play knight f7 check. I like the look of that. This gets the knight back from the brink. It also puts black's king in an awkward position. If king e8, I'm going to have discovered attacks with my knight, like knight takes d6 check, which would be a double check. If king d7, I have queen f5 check, which attacks the king and also the knight on e4. Socrates says, John, isn't this a bit of a mismatch? Yes, it is, Socrates, but I'm just playing people in the chat, subscribers, and yeah, we're just trying to have fun and learn a few things too. So it's all in good faith. Okay, king d7, so here I'm thinking check on f5 and fork the king and the knight. Queen g4 would accomplish the same thing. Unless there's some other better move, I'm going to do that. Yeah, I don't see anything. The king is awkwardly placed on d7. It's blocking their bishop, but this clearly just wins a piece for me, so I'm not going to try to look for too much more. I'm already up a ton of material. Yeah, Ping Pong Playa says in the chat, was a little too excited at the start. Yeah, I can't blame you. I mean, you're playing on video. Sometimes nerves get the best of us. You just got to work on that opening a little bit more, Ping Pong Playa. You got to look into d5 on move 4. If you're playing knight f6 on move 3 without knowledge of what to do after knight g5, that's a leak you have to plug. Okay, so let's take the knight. So assessing the material, I am up a rook plus a minor piece. And yeah, black doesn't have any particular compensation. So the game was really honestly almost decided after that queen e7 move. And after bishop takes f7 check, king d8, and I drop my bishop back, black would have to see knight f7 there to survive. But even then, even if they see knight f7, it's really tough. Okay, knight d4, this is a good move. So maybe they can eliminate my bishop and then eliminate the knight. So that's actually pretty reasonable. Yeah, also bishop f5 could be a potential threat. So not a bad move at all. I'm just going to play practical. I'm just going to go here. I might actually have to give up this knight on f7. Like knight takes b3. I'll play knight d6 check and try to win something for it. But I'm up a whole lot of material, so I'm not entirely concerned. It is kind of a shame that I wasn't able to save that f7 knight. I maybe could have moved it back to h8, but he's threatening to win on time. We'll see about that. I'm pretty fast, man. And there's that 5-second increment that can always save me in the clutch if necessary. Emil H says, it's nice to see John has overtaken Danny during the night in the Who Should Win fan favorite for the Streamers Challenge. Yeah, Danny's a good friend of mine, but I definitely want to beat him in this poll. If not for the $500, but for the bragging rights for sure. Knight d5, I'm just going after the queen. Yes, be careful where he puts the queen, because you can notice there's some forking potential. Like if queen e6, there's knight c7 check. If queen d7, there's knight f6 check. Also, my knight can maybe jump into b6 too and try to use the pin on the a pawn. That's an interesting possibility too. So queen g7, avoiding any potential tricks, but I do have knight b6. I'm just checking to see if that move makes sense. Yeah, if knight b6, if they take it, then I can take the rook on a8. If knight b6, bishop f5, I have queen a4 check. Because bishop f5 is like an in-between move black could play to try to get out of this. But I have queen a4 check, and then I can go pick up the rook. So that's working out. Trying to catch up on any questions that I might have missed. Your mic does this awful digital click sound periodically, says Fashizzle. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what the issue is with that. Someone in one of my videos suggested it might be an encoding error with the video. I mean, my technical skills are pretty limited. I know a little bit about troubleshooting a microphone or a video or whatnot, but I'm kind of in the dark. So if you guys have any advice about that, I don't think it's a mic issue, but I could be wrong. Okay, let's take that rook on a8. Not Evening says, hello, John, just noticed you were streaming. Yeah, thanks for stopping in, Not Evening. Appreciate you coming by. Lols991 says, are you having fun, John? Yeah, absolutely. I would not be doing this if it weren't fun. I really enjoy being on here with you guys. This is pretty cool, actually. Playing chess is always a good time. Even when you sometimes don't feel like playing chess, I still find it to be fun. Because once you get into the game and the gears start turning in your head, you really get into it. At least I do. Okay, I'm going to take this pawn on a7. I haven't moved my bishop yet. It has not gotten out, nor have I castled. Interestingly, I've won both knights, both rooks with my knight. The kingside knight and the queenside knight won the rooks on h8 and a8. So this is nice. I gotta watch my time. Ping Pong Playa threatened to win on time, and I've been looking at the chat and somewhat forgetting about the time a little bit. I will try to avoid getting flagged. John, what is the best way to improve for class players who cannot regularly play in tournaments due to geographic constraints? Your advice is much appreciated. Yeah, that's tough because, I mean, playing in tournaments is the biggest indicator of whether you're making progress. Sometimes people try to extrapolate online ratings to your over-the-board strength, but it's all speculation. I mean, the only way you're really going to know is if you play tournaments. I can fully sympathize if you're limited geographically and you can't enter as many tournaments as you would like. In that case, I think you can make up for it with a lot of online play. I think that's definitely possible. So you should be looking for long games. You should be trying to challenge players who are somewhat higher rated than you. I'd say 100 to 200 points higher rated than you. And hopefully that can compensate a little bit for your lack of tournament opportunities. So, and I mean, there's a lot of improvement you can make just in the course of your normal chess study too. Just because you're not playing tournaments doesn't mean you can't get better necessarily. So there's that as well. Queen e4, I'm hitting the pawn on b7 twice, but the rook and also the queen. My opponent's getting very low on time, and he resigned. Okay, so we win. Yes, as I said, this one was very much determined by the opening. That's why in this position after bishop c4, I think for lower rated players, beginning players, I think bishop c5 is the safest move. because that rules out knight g5 because the queen is monitoring that square. And knight f6 as played, you just have to be ready for knight g5 because this move is sharp. Knight g5, it attacks f7 twice, and you have to know precisely what to do. And the move here is d5. You have to block white's bishop. And after e takes d5, you should actually not take this because white has knight takes f7, or d4 is also a good move. So here you need to know a little theory too, like knight a5 is one very popular move, which is a gambit for black. It's also possible for black to play offbeat stuff like b5 or even knight d4 as well. But probably got to crack open opening book or look up some stuff on YouTube or in a database and try to figure out some theory a little bit. Don't go crazy with openings at your level, but if you're going to venture into a sharper line like that, you got to know what you're doing. Okay, so we are right at 2 hours, and this was great. Got to answer a lot of your questions and played 4 games with viewers. This was great. And if you made it through this entire stream, thank you for watching. Going to try to make this a more regular thing. Let's take a few more questions, and then we'll wrap up here. Speeding Up says, what do you believe of a Magnus Carlsen versus Eric Hansen bullet match? If it's online, I mean, hard to say. I don't think Eric would be an underdog necessarily. Depends how long it takes Magnus to get up to speed with Eric's mouse. In person, no chance for Eric whatsoever. Yeah, Magnus would win that handily. Let's see. Ryan says, glad I stumbled upon the stream. Looking forward to more. Good night. Yeah, thanks, Ryan. Thanks for tuning in. I know you're a big watcher of this channel. Squash Addict says, John, no chess rivals on Friday. Yeah, Danny and I have been kind of bad about recording it. We've both been pretty busy. We'll try to record some more chess rivals in the future, definitely. Fashizzle says, have you heard of the Bong Cloud opening? Yes, I have. Yeah, the Bong Cloud is apparently the following opening. E4, E5, or any move for black, and then King E2. So white just charging into the center with the king. Use at your own risk. Bargra says, do you have any insight on the difference between your YouTube audience demographic and your student demographic? That's interesting. I can tell you about half of my YouTube audience is people between the ages of like 20 and 35 from the statistics I have for my channel. That makes up a good half of the audience. So a lot of, you know, maybe like post-college people who are maybe young professionals getting into chess. I think there's a lot of you guys out there. I was talking earlier about the types of people who email me about lessons and stuff. And I get a ton of emails from people who are maybe more inclined to games, who didn't play chess at a younger age, but are now like in the working world and they're kind of getting into it. And I think that's awesome. I think even though you maybe didn't learn chess at a young age, it shouldn't stop you from appreciating it or getting back into it. All right. So thank you guys so much. As I said, I'm going to try to make this a regular thing, and I'll be posting this right after. So please leave me any feedback in the comments, and really appreciate you guys watching. All right. Bye, guys.